The Atlanta Braves get walked off 1-0 in 10 innings by the Kansas City Royals, dropping the series. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. Jake Mastriani is off on vacation for the rest of the week, so it'll be just me and y'all here in the chat. Thank you for being here to talk about this 1-0 loss to the Kansas City Royals in 10 innings. We're going to get to the offense. We're going to get to all of that. But I think like the biggest thing right now that we've got to talk about, just because of how amazing, unexpected everything it was, is Joey Wentz making his return back home. If you don't know, I put this out on social media before the game. Joey Wentz was a first-round draft pick by Atlanta from a high school that was 14 miles away from Kauffman Stadium, right? He went to Shawnee Mission East High School, and so this is coming back home for him. And he's not really been good in Kauffman in his career, 6.23 ERA, but the last time he made a start, it was pretty good. And today was fantastic. The best start that he has made as a member of the Atlanta Braves. 6 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks to 7 strikeouts. And the big thing there is Joey Wentz allows a hit to the very first batter that he faces, right? Michael Garcia. Joey Wentz leaves a cutter kind of middle down, and Michael Garcia rips it at 106 miles an hour because that's what Michael Garcia has done all series. He just had a nuclear series. He knew his cousin was on the other side for at least the first part of it, and he was fantastic. Now, the Braves strand Michael at first. He doesn't even advance past first. Another hit does not come in until the 7th inning. Like, there's not another hit for the Royals until the 7th. Now, there are 3 base runners reached via walks, but it's absolutely not any hits given up by Joey Wentz. And when you look at what he did, because Jake and I have talked before on here about how the cutter, they've really had him use the cutter a lot more. You see that today. 43 cutters thrown. They swing 25 times, 6 whiffs, 8 put into play, 11 fouled off. They just really were not good at getting really good contact. And because of the cutter, because they were watching the cutter, they put a grand total of 3 of the 4-seam fastballs into play. The hardest hit one was 91 miles an hour. They put 1 curveball put into play on 11 swings, just 83 miles an hour. So he's using the cutter really, really effectively from a location perspective, from a sequencing perspective, how he mixes up the cutter, the fastball above it, the curveball below it. Really great. What I love about this Joey Wentz really resurgence he's had since he's come to Atlanta, because I had the stat here. He has I think it's like a 1.58 ERA since he's come over to Atlanta. He has 4 years of team control after this season. He's a Super 2 guy, so he goes to arbitration for the first of 4 seasons next year, but he has 4 years of team control. And because his overall ERA is so bad, right? His overall ERA is still like 5 or so. He's not going to get a very high salary in arbitration this offseason, which means he won't have a high salary in all 4 years of arbitration. He may not clear $12 million across 4 seasons of arbitration, but if he keeps on looking like this is yet another starting pitcher option that you have. You get into the pen, and I saw somebody make a comment. I want to get to it in just a second about Daysabel Hernandez. We're going to get there. But Pierce Johnson comes in, finishes off that 7th inning. Dylan Lee, 1 hit in the 8th. Raisel Iglesias pitches a pretty good 9th, actually. I mean, if just being completely honest, pitches a really, really good 9th inning. And then Deisabel Hernandez throws 2 total pitches, takes the loss. He throws 2 sliders the exact same place. The first one's a called strike. It's like down and away on, like, right on the black, lower third of the plate. First one's a called strike. He throws the exact same ball at the exact same place, and Salvador Perez gets the RBI single. That was not only the first hit for Kansas City with a runner in scoring position in this game, that was the first at bat with a runner in scoring position in this game. And this has kind of been the story of the Braves season, right? The starting pitching has been really good. Joey Wentz is now 5th among the Braves pitching staff in Fangraphs WAR already. And the bullpen is not good, the offense is not good, and they can't win the game. And so we're going to get to the offense. We're going to get to how all of that went. But I think the big takeaway from the pitching side of this game, because we like to break this up, pitching on one side and then hitting on the other, offense on the other, defense on the other, is Joey Wentz is showing he absolutely is a piece for the 2026 Atlanta Braves. And that's what we're trying to do. Yes, we want the Braves to win. We're all fans, myself included. I want the Braves to win. But at the end of the day, these wins and losses don't matter as much as we want them to, except for positioning for a draft pick, except for momentum, however much you believe in that, ending the season, all of that good stuff, right? The results, as far as the standings, don't matter. Let's find the positives in things like Joey Wentz, because that is something you can take out of this and be happy about. In just a minute, let's talk about that pitching. Let's talk about that offense. Really kind of frustrating how many opportunities you had to score runs and didn't do it. We'll break that down next, right here on the Braves Postcast. Listen, we've all been there. Logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. Game Time can also help you with that, because Game Time, just like they help with sports tickets, they make getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as you get closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% with their killer last-minute deals. If you don't want to scroll through every available seat, you can go with Game Time's zone deals, where they pick the best seats in your section for you. Just like with sports, it has the panoramic seat view, so you know what your view will look like. There's no surprises. And the price you see is the price you pay, no hidden fees. So take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, it's very frustrating to have 5 hits and not score any runs when your pitching is this good. It's extra frustrating when you have 11 opportunities to get a hit with runners in scoring position. Atlanta got 1. In regulation, they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Again, only 5 hits. The Braves drew 1 walk. But when they got runners on, Luke Williams stole a base to get in scoring position. Like, they had opportunities to move these guys around, and they just couldn't do it. And we did learn a couple things here, right? I think thing number 1 we learned, I was talking to some people during the game about this as well to kind of confirm this. Eli White's going to be your starter in right field, right? Jared Kelenic is on the roster. We saw him pinch run for Marcelo Zuna in the 10th inning. He's not going to be an everyday player. He's not going to be part of a pretty heavy platoon. The plan, Brian Stinker said this in the pregame. We heard this, I heard this from some people in Gwinnett when the decision was first made. Jared Kelenick's not going to be a starter for this team. Eli White looked really good last night. 2 for 2 RBI in a run. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Does Eli White continue to start? We don't necessarily know. But at least up front, Eli White's going to get near every single day playing time, which is absolutely nice. And this is, I will say, and shout out to Mass Boost here in the chat, the offense had been better than this in the last couple weeks. This is the very, very frustrating lack of offense that we saw early in the year. Again, 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. We did also get some news, though. It feels like you're going to have a chance to get back to decent offense later in the year. We got some news from both Mark Bowman and David O'Brien that Ronald Acuna Jr. has a grade 1 right calf strain. So it's not a major injury to the Achilles. It's not something that should keep him out for the rest of the season. And so the original time frame that was kind of thrown around of 3 weeks, maybe a month, 3 weeks or so, it feels like that is still in play to get Ronald Acuna Jr. back. It's a lower right calf strain. It's not the Achilles. You could see Ronald by the end of August. Now, obviously, and I already see it in the comments here, there is the question of, do you just shut him down for the rest of the year, or do you try to bring him back? And Snit talked about this last week from the perspective of the pitchers who are out, right? From the Chris Sale, Spencer Schwellenbach, the guy, Ronaldo Lopez, the guys who have a chance to come back. This is something you're not going to see Grant Holmes again this year. Obviously, you won't see AJ Smith-Shawver. But from the guys with the perspective of coming back, Snit talked about, while there's not anything to play for as far as the standings and all of that, it does help these guys from a mental perspective if they can make it back before the season ends, so that they can get back into games, so that they know, hey, I am healthy. I am back to being a major leaguer and and I am good to go. And then you get to have a normal offseason versus having a rehab offseason with a little bit of lingering question in your mind. Can I still do this? Am I good enough to play in the majors? Blah, 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 all that good stuff. And when we talked to Chris Sale, when he first got traded, he hopped on Zoom with us, the media, from Northport. He had thrown a bullpen down there, signed his deal through a bullpen, got on with us. And he said that going into last year, he said being able to have a normal, healthy offseason, getting back on the mound before the season ended in 22, meant that he was better able to be prepared for the season. He felt better about it, and he was ready to go for the season. And what happened? You got a Cy Young out of Chris Sale in 2024. I'm not saying that if you bring back Ronald, he's going to go back to win the MVP again in 26. That would be nice. But there is something to be said for let these guys, if they want to come back and it makes sense, let them come back, make an appearance so that they have the confidence of knowing they're ready to go as they enter 2025. As they enter 2026. Now, again, if you do that, you have questions to figure out because you need roster spots for all these guys. Outside of Acuna, all those guys are on the 60-day IL. To get them off the 60-day IL, you have to get rid of somebody. Yes, we're going to have guys leave, hopefully tonight and tomorrow at the trade deadline. Marcell Ozuna, Raisel Iglesias. Hopefully Rafael Montero gets launched into the sun, those kind of things. But you're going to free up some spots. But bringing those guys back, that is the other part of the equation, right? Is who are you willing to lose to bring each of those guys back? So fine line to walk. We'll see how the Braves approach it. Again, 1-0 loss for the Braves to the Royals in 10. We are now on to Cincinnati. In the words of Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati. Braves have 3 against the Reds Thursday night at 7:10. Friday is a day game at 12:40 because the Bristol game is Saturday at 7:15 p.m. The rotation here, Carlos Carrasco has to be added to the 40-man roster tomorrow to make his start for game 1 versus Andrew Abbott. Bryce Elder versus Brady Singer in game 2. And then Spencer Strider gets the ball in Bristol. He's from Tennessee, so he's kind of going back home here. We saw what Joey Wentz did when he went home today. Spencer Strider versus Chase Burns on Saturday night in Bristol. I will be back for postcasts after all 3 of these games. And then again, we're all off on Sunday. It's the first Sunday we have off all year. Do me a favor. If you're listening to the postcast on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to both Locked On Braves and Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live with the postcast. Jake drops a pod from vacation. The Locked On ATL folks talking football, talking basketball, whatever it might be. Until next time, this has been the Braves Postcast.